Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Edward Zula Spiritual Medium. Very excited to have this new YouTube channel. I want to thank all my new subscribers, Karen, Elaine, Paula, Matthew, Sonny, Michelle. I'm just extremely grateful. There are many more of you. Thank you so much for being supportive. I'm trying to do my absolute best to share information that I think is going to be useful and helpful. And especially helpful because those of us that are experiencing any kind of grief would like to know if we're actually experiencing signs or any messages from our loved ones. And when things happen, are these things a result of spirit trying to interact with us? So today I want to talk about the physical world or the material world and the interaction of spirit with the physical world. Now, the most common things that we get are sounds. People will hear sounds. They will hear knocking, banging, inexplicable sounds that are definitely interactions with physical objects or solid material that are around them. They may hear footsteps and things of that nature. That is spirit interacting with physical world. The other thing that will happen will be pictures falling off walls. That is one of the most common that gets reported to me is pictures falling off mantles, off walls, off tables. And interesting, they usually do not break. That is almost always an indication that spirit has some play in that. Occasionally, we have weak nails in the wall or things just get wobbly. And you do have to be able to have the courage to debunk whatever it is that might be happening. You have to put that nail back in the wall and jiggle it around and see if it was loose. Or you have to look at the mantle and find out whether the cat was walking behind the photographs. But when a picture falls off a wall or off the mantle and the glass does not break, especially if it's a significant picture, family at Christmas, a loved one who's crossed over, anything of that nature, something sentimental, a family home, a photograph of a family home. When these photographs fall down, and sometimes they can just tip or crash to the floor or wind up on the bed 7 feet from where they were when you left the house. You come back in and they've moved. This is often spirit using its ability to manipulate physical objects. The other thing that spirit will do to interact with the physical world is give us sense. So we will smell perfume. We will smell cigarette smoke. We will feel the presence of, other aromas that are, whether it be like baking or but they're things that are significant where you can actually smell that perfume and you can go, whoa, I recognize that. Or the cigar smoke, I recognize that. I know who that is that's smoking a cigar. Whoever comes to your mind immediately is the one who's trying to reach you, is the one who is saying hello. I really hate saying trying to reach you because they're really just dropping in and saying hello. And please remember that we live in their world. Okay, we live in the world of spirit. There are many, many more of them than there are of us. So if we're catching a whiff of perfume or catching a cigar smoke, it is intentional. It is their way of letting us know that they're around. If we're smelling the baking apple pie and we're not baking an apple pie, and we know it's not our neighbors. It's really, really important to debunk some of this stuff. And by that I mean you have to be absolutely certain for yourself that there isn't a reason for why you're smelling these things. If it is completely inexplicable, then the chance is that it's spirit. Okay, so I really do believe in debunking. I think that's very, very important to understand that if a door suddenly slams or it's repeatedly closing when you leave it open, you want to make sure that there isn't an air conditioning draft or a fan that's in a ceiling fan in the house that's causing that door to close, or some other force. Sometimes when you open one door that leads to the outside, it will cause another door on the inside or leading to the outside to close. That simply has to do with air pressure. So it is when these things are inexplicable that there doesn't seem to be any cause, and very often they will repeat. That's when we can have a sense that it's spirit. The other thing that spirit will do in the physical world is cause temperatures to change in the room. Now, this is a little bit of an overlap with the energy issue, because spirits are using energy. They're drawing energy in the form of heat to manifest. So if a room gets cold, or you get a chill, or you walk through a space that's like a cold spot that, again, there's no logical reason for, you don't have a vent overhead, or there's not one on the floor. If you walk through a cold spot and you immediately think of someone who's crossed over, chances are that's exactly what happened, because in order to try to manifest, they will pull heat to help them manifest. That heat is energy. That's the same reason they drain batteries. It's the same reason that they drain other kind of electrical instruments. It's, again, pulling energy. But in the spirit, feeling it in the physical world, we're talking about changes in temperature. Another one may be clocks that are like grandfather clocks that aren't electrical, or any kind of a non-electrical clock will start chiming and doesn't quite make sense at all. Why is that clock chiming? Why is that window slamming? Why did that thing fall over? Why am I looking in my closet and seeing hangers on the floor that were not on the floor before? These are all things that have been reported to me and have no explanation other than spirit doing something within the physical realm. The other thing and there are many, many types of things that I'm sure you can send me your experiences of spirit interacting with the physical realm. Another one, which I'm not going to get into here, is animals' reaction to spirit. That's a whole separate, that's an entirely separate video, which we will get to eventually, okay, I promise you. The thing I want to talk to you about is something called an apport. An apport is when we suddenly find that something is missing. Like, we know we hung our keys on that hook. We do it every day when we walk in the door, and they're gone. Or we come in from an event, and if you're wearing earrings, you take your earrings off and you put them in the little dish that you normally keep them in. And when you get up in the morning to put them away, these earrings are gone. When you are trying to leave the house, you're hurried for an appointment, and you go to reach for your wallet, which you absolutely know is on your nightstand, and it isn't there, it's gone. Now, again, debunking is so important. I have had a friend who had her husband look for 2.5 hours with her for her keys, and dang if they didn't show up where they didn't belong. I'm sorry, if they showed up where they didn't belong, and where neither she nor her husband had put them. They were just in a very bizarre place. But in that particular case, it prevented her from leaving to go to work on time, and she had to call in late. My friend was working in the trade towers, and the date of that incident was 9/11. So, yeah, it's pretty amazing. But what we understood later on was that her sister had passed away not long before. And where they found the keys they were adjacent to something, or actually lying under something that her sister had given her. So there seemed to have been a message there. Certainly, yes, spirit can warn you using physical objects. They can warn you using electricity, but there was no way to know this was a warning of any kind. Usually, we'll never know, because if our wallet is missing, or our keys are missing, or something delays us, and something might have happened to us out there in the world, but it didn't happen. So we kind of have to take a beat when things like that happen. It's not just our own carelessness or forgetfulness or our own, being scattered about where things are, doing things in a hurry. If you know that you've put your keys somewhere and they've disappeared, where have they gone? How did they get from that hook to the place where they absolutely did not belong? How did that wallet get from the nightstand to the dining room bureau drawer? How did those earrings show up 4 years later in the same dish on the date, which was the actual birthday of the person that gave them to you? Apports, or when spirit pulls something out of the material world, and at some point replaces it. Rarely does an apport involve something going away forever. These things return. I have a very extraordinary story that I would like to share with you. It's rather lengthy, but I won't be doing that today. But it is about a friend of mine who had a jacket disappear in California and reappear in Ohio. And it was her mother's coat, and her mother had passed away. And Ohio was the family home. So it had nothing to do with traveling. It had nothing to do with leaving something out of her suitcase. It simply vanished from a hook where it was hanging and reappeared hanging in a closet in the family home in Ohio. So, yes, spirit can manipulate physical objects in many ways. I'm not going to get into any of the creepy, scary stuff because there's enough of that on television. So I'm just going to leave you today with this message. I would love to know what your experiences are with spirits, moving objects, or things that you are for sure are apports where things disappear and then reappear later, or whether, the most common things are keys and things of that nature. So that's the message for today. I'm very, very excited because my dear friend Michelle is working on a bumpers, I guess you call them, for the front of my videos and the close of my videos. And hopefully in the next couple of videos, they'll be up and running. You'll be able to see them. I'm really excited about how they're coming along. They feel so wonderful. I love her so much for working so hard to make this nice for me. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you for your support. Subscribe, please. When I get to my first 100 subscribers, I'm going to do a giveaway for a reading. So I promise. So please subscribe, share my videos, ask your friend to subscribe. And in the meantime, take care of yourself. Wash your hands, social distance, wear your mask until we're told that it's okay that we don't have to. And with that, I will leave you, and I'll see you soon. Bye.